Trump may have been given a gag order by Jack Smith, but he has no such gag order with Letitia James in New York. And here he calls her out for fraud.
But this is the Attorney General of New York State, Letitia James, and she should be allowed to be Attorney General. She's defrauded the public with this trial.
That's Trump speaking just before he heads into his New York civil trial. He ends up revealing everything about Letitia James you need to know, and it's going to backfire. I'll show you at the end of this video how Democrats are turning toward Trump for 2024. That means Letitia James, it didn't work. Welcome to Exile. This is where all the happy people are. I'd love to have you guys share this post out, leave a comment, give us a thumbs up and a follow. All that stuff really helps get our message out. It helps multiply this and help spread the word about Trump.
And my children are involved in this, and they don't deserve to be involved in this. This is a witch hunt by a radical lunatic attorney general that shouldn't be allowed to be an attorney general. She's horrible. And it's very unfair. We don't get a jury trial. There's no jury. And we don't have any choice. Somebody said we could have checked a box or something. We don't check a box. This is a statute that was never used before, never once used before for anything like this. I'm the first one. Isn't that nice?
Trump is the first to not get a jury using this statute. That shows how far it exposes everything about the left and the Democrats that you need to know. Because just by this one instant popping out uniquely used against Trump proves that they're bending over backwards to break every rule to go after him. This is a political witch hunt.
And I should be in Iowa now. I should be in New Hampshire now. I should be in South Carolina now or someplace else campaigning. The good news is we're about 60 points up on everybody, and we're leading Biden by 11. And that's why they're doing this, because this is all coming out of Washington.
We're going to get to Trump's positive polls in a minute, too, to prove that his polls are doing better than he was doing in 2020.
I don't get the option. If I begged for a jury, they wouldn't give me a jury. I get no jury. The judge is going to make a decision. He's a Democrat judge. He's very liberal. And I believe he's under a lot of pressure. This is a rigged trial. This is a rigged situation. And our country can't stand these things. And the people of our country understand it. We're being railroaded. And I have other trials we're being railroaded. You saw yesterday where they take away my right to speak. I won't be able to speak like I'm speaking to you. And I'm not saying anything wrong. I'm saying the truth. I won't be able to do this with that trial because the judge, which of course we're appealing, because the judge said basically I don't have a right to speak. And I'm the number one candidate leading the Republicans by 55 or 60 points. That should be over. And leading Joe Biden. And I'm being restricted. My speech has been taken away from me. I'm a candidate that's running for office, and I'm not allowed to speak. This is a railroading. It's all coming out of the Department of Justice. It's all set up by Biden and his thugs that he's surrounded with, to try and sneak out an election victory that he's not entitled to win because he's been the worst president in the history of our country. Thank you very much.
Let's document the backfire on Letitia James and the Biden administration crookedly going after Trump. Here's this billionaire, a Democrat voter. This is Chamath Palihapitiya. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that name, but he admits that he was wrong about President Trump and says he now appreciates what Trump is able to do. Listen to this.
Voted for Hillary Clinton. I voted for Joe Biden, but this is the honest assessment. The guy did, for the things that he was supposed to do, a good job. And for where every other president found a way to, frankly, make our situation a little bit worse, specifically around wars, he did not do that. And that is a huge accomplishment that I think needs to be acknowledged. As a Democrat who has been left homeless, who is now definitely in the center, but probably leaning increasingly.
He's leaning increasingly to the right, but they're called homeless because they can no longer find a home and stand what the Democrats are doing.
Despite the messenger of the message of the Trump administration, because what those guys did was pretty incredible in hindsight. These Abraham Accords, the accords with Israel and the GCC, the almost accord between Israel and Saudi, to really be able to find a long-lasting peace is just a real example for the world. And those guys did a lot of really good work.
So even though this guy knew that back then, he voted for Biden. So what has changed? He's going to give you the line of evidence of what happened.
And in fact, this is a moment where you have to start to re-underwrite, like, is one's Trump derangement syndrome causing more damage than anything that Trump could have actually done? And I think the answer is yes, because like it's now causing us to not see.
Trump derangement syndrome, called TDS, is a blinding thing that keeps you from seeing what he did. And now his blinders are off. Biden just made a Trump fan.
That good work and then embrace and extend it. So much of the work that happened in that administration turns out to have been right. And that's what's so frustrating for me. The work on the border wall. We didn't like the messenger, so we killed the message. Turned out it was right. Issuing long-term debt to refinance when rates were at zero. We didn't like the messenger, so we killed the message. A structural peace in the Middle East. We didn't like the messenger, so we killed the message. When are we going to stop shooting ourselves in the foot? And when are we going to actually see and take the time to look past who is saying things and actually listen to them word for word?
That's a convert, legit. And he is a billionaire, a donor. So that's going to go into Trump's coffers and be taken out of Biden's. That's happening across America right now. People are waking up. The blinders are being removed. And then here's the polls. What is happening in the polls? Well, there's a big one here where this is John Tester, a Democrat, but Trump lead in a new Montana poll. Democrat Senator John Tester and former President Trump are both leading their top competitors among voters in Montana, according to a new Emerson College polling survey. In a hypothetical 2024 matchup with President Biden, who's also running for election, Trump leads with a 49%, in the incumbent's 28%. That is a massive swing of 20 points. Now let's look at Montana from 2020, and Trump only led Biden by 56-40. That's 16 points. So Trump is expanding what he was doing back in 2020. Biden looks much worse now than he did at the same time in the election back for the 2020 election. Biden is hemorrhaging. Trump is slowly gaining, and I believe it's these Democrats that are doing it. And it's because they're looking at what Letitia James did. This is backfiring on them in the best way. If you guys love this kind of news, then just say hi in the comments. I'm Doug in Exile.